Draymond Steph just said this was the happiest he's ever been after a win in Game 11, and he kind of shared that with you in that hug post game. Did you feel the same way? Was it that kind of, I don't want to say pressure, but emotion with this
I
one?
wouldn't necessarily say pressure, but we had to win. Like, we needed to win. It was lost 5 in a row. Coming in 3-7, like, you need to establish our footing. And so, hard fought game. Usually when you're in the rut, it never comes easy. But we had to win that game. And it felt good after, but it's brutal.
You've played next to Steph when he goes nuclear like that in the fourth quarter and the whole game. What do you notice what did you notice today about the way his demeanor changed?
Okay, so take this, what I'm about to say, with a grain of salt. Okay? It was very Game 4 NBA Finals to me. Like, he just wasn't going to allow us to lose. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this game was that important, but you kind of know when to get out the way. And I mean, it was one of those times where he was taking over. He wasn't looking to pass the ball unless he absolutely had to pass the ball. And you understand that, so you try to do all that you can to get him the matchup he wants, or get him in the get him the looks that he wants. But ultimately, he took that game over by himself.
Did that technical that he got tell you what kind of mode he was flipping into?
I mean, I think at a certain point, enough is just enough. So it's very rare that we see him get upset like that. But like I said, at a certain point, you just kind of had enough.
I don't think I've ever seen you go and Steph like hug like that after a game in the regular season. But what were you guys feeling?
We've been getting our ass kicked, and so shoot, I'm sorry, I was trying to stop cursing. I mean, we've been losing games that we're supposed to win. We probably got like 3 or 4 of them this year where we've lost games down the stretch that we don't normally lose, and so just to close one out, it felt good. You know, you lose 5 in a row. I don't care who you are, how much success you had. You lose 5 in a row, the one you get going to feel good. And, you know, we're not past the point of feeling good about a regular season win. We understand where we are starting this season, and we need to win games. And so it was good. Like, not that it felt like a playoff game or something, but we knew we had to win that game. And it was just kind of a breath of fresh air to pull it out.
Steve said it was a necessity to play the starters as much as he did, but it's not sustainable. I mean, we are in game 11, and you guys have, particularly with Steph, been really counting on him to kind of carry you through games like he did tonight. Do you agree that that's not sustainable? And what do you need to see changed from everyone, I guess, to kind of balance out the workload?
I mean, we just got to continue to try to find the right rotations. I mean, I'm a starter, and I think my minutes is sustainable. I think that's what you work for. But in saying that, I do understand the big picture and just know that, playing 37 minutes a night, 38 minutes for Clay, 38 minutes for Steph, 40 minutes for Wiggs, like, that's tough to keep up throughout the season and then get to the playoffs, number one, healthy, and number two, as fresh as you could possibly be. It's tough. And so we did what we had to do tonight because, it was very imperative that we came out of here with a win. But, we're going to need our guys to continue to get better and step up. And, I don't have any doubt that they'll figure it out, or we will figure it out with them.
Dre, in this age of advanced analytics and whatnot, how do you feel the plus minus stat is viewed around the league, and how do you feel about it personally?
I think plus minus kind of tell you a lot. Sometimes you're kind of an innocent bystander, negatively impacted. Sometimes you're positively impacted. But I think for the most part, it's a stat that tells the truth. And, was it good when you were out there or was it not? And I think that's kind of what that stat says. So I take pride in it, a lot of pride in it, because I want to know it was good when I was on the floor, just as a competitor.
Kerr switched up the rotation and he said moving forward, at least for now, going smaller is going to be what you guys do. More JK, maybe a little less Wiseman and JaMychal. I guess just from your vantage point, how do you guys have been really successful with small ball in the past, but with this group, how do you see that kind of playing out?
Well, I think the most important thing is when we're small is we defend and rebound. I think we did a good job of that tonight. I think teams have always struggled with our smaller lineup, and it's something that has had an unbelievable amount of success over the years. So yeah, I mean, if it works, we're going to it, and it was working for us tonight. It brought that energy to start off that second half, which was great and what we needed. And yeah, I mean, no point in going away from it now if it works.
Wiseman, is out of the rotation now. He could go back in. We know this can change, but what's your feeling on where his season is, where his career is right now?
I think his career is just fine. Played 50 games, which sucks for him, because you number one, you put the work in to compete at the highest level. And then sometimes things happen and you're not really given that opportunity. And for him, it was injuries. And so now you're kind of playing catch up, which is always tough. In saying that, it is imperative that he use this time to improve. If you're not in the lineup, you should be crushing yourself every single day. So one thing we know for certain is Steve is going to call your number. Always have, always will, and you have to make sure that you're ready when that number is called. And so it may be next game, it may be 3 games from now, but his number is going to get called, and it's going to be very important that he's ready when his number is called. Playing time at this level is not a given. It's something that you have to earn. It's something that's constantly changing. On most teams, you may have 4 to 6 guys that is going to play consistent minutes, and then everybody else, you kind of figure it out as you go. I think right now at this point in his career, that's where he is. And it's no problem with that. When I was in the 3rd year of my career, I was expected to do that same thing. And then obviously David Lee got hurt and things changed for me. But that's pretty much where most guys are at that point in their career. So from that standpoint, I don't think he's much further behind the majority of guys who's, young in their career. 3rd year for him, this is really like his rookie year. And so definitely in your rookie year, you may play, you may not. There were games where I came in for 17 seconds to get a stop, and that was all I played that game. And so, it's like I said, playing time isn't a given. It's something that's constantly changing, but what you can control, in this case, I'm talking to James Wiseman, is making sure that you're ready when your number is called, because it will be called. And the worst thing in the world is not being ready when that number is called. And by the way, that don't mean you're going to come in and do everything right. That means you're going to come in, you're going to have intensity, you're going to have a certain focus level and attention to detail, and you go from there. But at the end of the day, he's not going to, whenever he plays again, go off from all of a sudden, essentially in his rookie year to his 10th year. He's still facing those same challenges. But the one thing you can control is your energy. And I think it's important for him when he plays again that you're bouncing off the wall. Nobody can say, well, he didn't play hard. Yeah, he's going to mess some stuff up. Is he going to mess a coverage up? Absolutely. Is he going to mess a play up? Absolutely. But what someone can't question is how hard you played. And so that will be my message to him, and just making sure that he stays ready, and most importantly, doing what he has to do on a daily basis to improve.
You guys got off to a crazy hot start. You had a 12-point lead with about 4 minutes to go in the quarter, and then they went on a 33-10 run over the rest of the quarter and early in the second. How would you break down what went wrong for you guys during that stretch?
I think we let a couple guys start hitting shots that shouldn't have. Now, not shouldn't have from the standpoint of they can't hit shots. Malik Monk is a shot maker. But you want to take those easy looks away in the beginning. So the rim doesn't look as big and you don't feel like you're in such a good rhythm. And I think towards the end of that first quarter, we gave up a few open looks. Once you give up those open looks, it's NBA, man. Guys are really good at basketball in this league. And if you're going to give up open looks and allow a team to get rhythm, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle, and that's what we were fighting. So I think we have to understand what it takes to close quarters better. I don't care who's in the game, who's subbing in, who's subbing out. We have to close quarters better. Whoever's in there, and closing the quarter is all about attention, detail, and focus, and defensive intensity. And right now, we suck in those areas, and so we have been an awful quarter closing team, if you will. And it's something that if you're going to win in this league, you can't give up momentum every end of the quarter going into the next quarter. You're going to win big in this league. So that's something that we have to figure out.